Good evening and welcome to Hungary Reports, National Public Media and One's foreign language news hour. I'm Csenga Gabriela Ibolya with today's news from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin. Let's begin. The National Public Health Centre is calling attention to the fact that the danger is not over. Pandemic preparedness is still in effect here in Hungary. There is no big jump in the number of coronavirus cases yet, but in order to keep it that way, we need to be cautious. The most important thing is that whoever is sick should not go near the community and others should wear a mask and keep a safe distance.
Nationwide, the academic year can be started traditionally in higher education institutions as well. They received clear guidance similar to primary and secondary schools. They will have to apply the epidemiological protocols developed by the government. It describes in detail how to protect against the coronavirus and what to do in case of possible infections. Digital classes and teaching can always be reintroduced if necessary. To maintain a favorable epidemiological situation, caution is necessary in all areas of life. Masks are worn by the majority of people, but often incorrectly. They just cover their mouths with it and not their noses. We can also often see it being pulled down on their chins by people. Yet, for the time being, we can only be protected against the coronavirus by complying with the epidemiological rules. In addition to wearing a mask, keeping a distance is also extremely important. And whoever has symptoms should not go into the community, because it easily causes trouble, which can even involve mass infection. The National Public Health Center points out that the danger has not passed. Preparedness for the pandemic still remains. If someone notices any symptoms, such as upper respiratory symptoms, or suddenly loses their sense of smell or taste, do not go into the community. Do not take part in family events or other community events. Do not go to work, but consult your GP and do so by phone if possible, Agnes Galgóci explained. Researchers have now proven that the spread of the coronavirus depends only on humans. Even though it is summer, the heat does not destroy pathogen. And there are those who, if careless, can still infect dozens, but even hundreds of people.
The Hungarian Armed Forces will buy air defense missile system components from the United States. The letter of intent for the acquisition of $1 billion, which is around 300 billion forints, was signed today in Budapest. Defense Minister BENKO said Hungary is determined to acquire the most up-to-date, most effective tools when it comes to national defense.
The German-made Leopard A4 is considered one of the best tanks in the world. 4 pieces arrived in Tata in July and another 10 will follow by the end of the year. And from 2023, 44 new Leopard A7s will arrive. These weapons were produced in Hungary. The Hungarian army received over 10,000 modern pistols, assault rifles and machine guns last year. NATO expects member states to spend 2% of their gross national product on defense by 2024. In Hungary, resources for the military are expected to exceed 1.6% of GDP by next year. These are Airbus AH-145 helicopters. The first 2 arrived at the end of last year. Hungary ordered 20 of these altogether and 16 bigger models as well. A light helicopter, which has not been in the Hungarian Armed Forces so far. They're multi-purpose, which means that it's a training helicopter, a search and rescue helicopter, and an armed fire support as well, József Kollár explained. On Wednesday, the development of the country's airspace defense reached a new milestone. U.S. Ambassador David Cornstein and Minister of Defense TIBOR BENKO have jointly announced that the 2 countries will sign a letter of intent to purchase for $1 billion. This will create the largest defense procurement contract to date between the United States and Hungary. If these procurements take effect, I'm confident that the Hungarian army will have one of the latest, most modern air defense systems, TIBOR BENKO said. The U.S. ambassador said that he hopes that Hungary won't have to deploy these weapons in a state of war. According to the document, the Hungarian Armed Forces will procure the necessary components of the improved ground-to-air missile system through the U.S. Foreign Military Sales Program by the end of September at the latest.
Until the end of August, job protection and research and development WIP subsidies can be applied for. Both options were announced by the government in the framework of the Economic Protection Action Plan to alleviate the crisis caused by the pandemic. According to the latest data, after more than 200,000 employees, businesses have applied for the more than 50 billion forint or 144 million euros. Experts say the government will announce similar measures in the future if the recurrence of the pandemic situation calls for it.
The purpose of these subsidies is, of course, to make the labor market more flexible, so that it will be possible to work not only in the workplace or to provide as many people as possible with more than 40 hours, 5 days a week of work, but for the government to make the legal environment even easier.
The Hungarian Village programme is still in full swing. As more road renovations and nursery upgrades are being completed these days, new tenders have also been issued. With a total value of 1 billion forints, or almost 2.9 million euros, the support can be used for the construction of bicycle paths and the renovation of cemeteries. This year, the villages could apply for 22 different purposes. The aim is to prevent small settlements from becoming depopulated and young people to start a family in their home village.
In the framework of the Hungarian Village program, several road sections are now being renewed in Híradó. According to the mayor, road renovations are essential to prevent young people from migrating from the small villages. Back in May, in the framework of the Hungarian Village program, we handed over a 510-meter-long street which cost 90 million forints. Now we have another winning tender in the program, which is under public procurement worth 15.5 million forints, the mayor said. This year, small settlements could apply for 22 different tenders in the Hungarian Village program. Many of these are still open for applications. Villages that want to renovate the building and gymnasium of their kindergarten or school, or would just modernize the village house, can upload their plans to the Hungarian State Treasury till the beginning of September. But there are also plenty freshly published tenders that can be used for the construction of bike paths, public works, the purchase of abandoned properties, the construction of building plots, and the modernization of cemeteries. The mayor of Zsombor in Csongrád-Csanád County said, thanks to the program, the community house now has modern sound technology and the dental office could also purchase new equipment. In the last decade, we have not been able to find a single tender source from which we could have achieved so much, the mayor explained. Just as before, municipalities with a population of 5,000 or less can apply. The deadline is the 10th of September, and a total of 1 billion forints, or almost 2.9 million euros, can be applied for. The aim of the Hungarian Village program is to stop the population decline in small rural settlements and for young people to be able to start family in their home villages.
It's been in operation since May of 1896, but it still amazes tourists. This is the Budapest Underground, namely Line 1. Although the builders were squeezed by their deadline, they had to be done in as little as a year and a half, they still managed to make something permanent. The history and world-class innovations of the Millennium Railway are presented in the capital's Underground Museum. And the real attraction of EGERSZALÓK is the 65 to 68 degree thermal water spring erupting from the depths of the earth. The water flowing down the hillside has built unique limestone deposits over the millennia, which happen to be unique in Europe. The salt mound is under local protection and can only be reached on a built-in walkway. A spa and hotel were both built around the salt hill. And that's all for now, but don't forget you can catch Hungary Reports every night after 11 o'clock news and online as always. Do stick around and watch our German, Russian and Chinese language news. Thank you for watching and have a lovely evening.